Hey, welcome to Bourbon Bill's Bar. I'm Bourbon Bill, your host, and on this episode, we're going to talk about making our own world-famous Fireball whiskey. Now, a lot of you are very familiar with this, and there is a certain love-hate relationship that goes on with Fireball, but we're going to find out what it is and what it isn't in this episode. We'll be right back. Welcome to Bourbon Bill's Bar. From bold bourbons to timeless tiki, we explore the craft, culture, and charisma of mixology with vintage flair and modern swagger. Subscribe to join our speakeasy and ring the bell so you never miss a pour. Hey, welcome back. Now, we're going through a little bit of a rebranding here at Bourbon Bill's Bar. So you're going to see some things that are familiar and you're going to see some new things as well. Let's talk a little bit about Fireball whiskey, what it is and really what it isn't. And most importantly, we're going to get to how to make this delicious treat here in just a few moments. Now, Fireball has that love-hate relationship with so many of you, but it's really kind of misunderstood. Now, there is whiskey in it, but technically it's not a whiskey. It's what's considered a flavored whiskey, which is a separate category, or a liqueur. And that's because there's other things in it besides just straight whiskey. Now, you might be familiar with it, maybe not so much, but it's got like that cinnamon hot kind of flavor. Now, there's some rumors going around the internet that some are more strange than others. It's widely known that whiskey can ease some of the symptoms of a cold. Well, that's actually kind of based in truth because it does dilate the blood vessels, and that may help with nasal decongestion and some other symptoms around that, and kind of take the edge off feeling crappy. But there's another rumor going around that it has antifreeze in it. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. Now, there are some sweeteners, there is some dye to make it a certain color, and there's a product called propylene glycol. Okay, now, yes, you may find propylene glycol in some brands of antifreeze, but I assure you it's not the same thing. The ingredient that goes into Fireball, as in any food grade product, has to be food quality as approved by the FDA. So if you see that, somebody might say, well, they couldn't print it if it weren't true. Well, it's sort of a half-truth, okay? So it is perfectly safe. They did have to change the formula slightly to comply with European laws, but that was just the extent of it, and I think that was what was the basis for some of these rumors. But it is perfectly safe to drink, and I'm going to tell you, what we're going to make today is easy, it's just as tasty, and you have the control on how to do this. All right, so let's jump over to the kitchen and I'll show you how easy it is to make Fireball. Okay, let's get right to it. This is actually super simple to make, and the best thing about this is you kind of control the ingredients that goes into it. Some people like it sweeter, some people not so much, but it's going to be full flavored. Now, there are just a few ingredients that we have to have, and the first part of it is we're going to use water and sugar, and we're going to make our own simple syrup, but we're going to add in some cinnamon. So the first ingredient is 1 cup of water. Throw in just 1 cup of white sugar or cane sugar, your preference there. I'm going to throw that right in the pot and throw that in, get all that in. Now we're going to use some cinnamon stick. Now you can use ground cinnamon, but let me suggest that cinnamon stick would work better because the ground cinnamon tends to create sediment, and you don't want to have to filter it every time you want to pour a drink, and you don't want to leave that in the bottom of a glass. It probably would have better presentation if you use cinnamon stick. So we're going to use Badia because they're gluten-free, and we have to watch that for bootleg mini. That's some dietary things between you and your friends. So we're going to take 5 cinnamon sticks, good sized cinnamon sticks, and we're going to light that stove up and give that to a good boil. Now, while we're waiting for that to come up to a boil, go ahead and do Bourbon Bill a solid and go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, and hit that notify bell so you're the first one to know when we upload new content to this channel. And also check out some of our other videos. Our most popular videos are the ones where I re-engineer different drinks like Fireball today. Check out our how to make your own limoncello, or make your own Kahlua, or your own Baileys, or your own rum cotta, and several other things that we have right here on the channel. Now, when you have your simple syrup going, you just give that a gentle stir, and you will see that the sugar will dissolve into that solution, and we're going to let that come up to a good boil. And then once that comes up to a good boil and it's clear, we're going to let it cool down for safe handling. And then we'll just transfer it into a squeeze bottle, and we can use that for several other drinks like an old fashioned and other recipes that you would use simple syrup in. So we're going to be right back, and we're going to get to the part where, you know, we're just pouring this out so we don't waste your time. Be right back. All right, now that we've allowed our simple syrup to cool down, let's go ahead and take those cinnamon sticks out of the mix so it makes it a little easier for pouring. We have just a couple of different things that we need to add the simple syrup to. All right, get those out of the way. Now, the first part of this is we're going to use Canadian whiskey. Now, if you do any kind of research on Fireball, you're going to find that Canadian blended whiskey is the base for our Fireball project today. And since we're being cost conscious, we're using Canadian Mist as our base. It's a fine whiskey, it's less expensive, and it goes in. And the whole point of this is to be able to make our Fireball cheaper than just going out and buying it. So we're going to use that in just a minute. But for the first part, we're going to use a half a cup of our simple syrup that we already made. And we're going to just pour that right in and get a half a cup for our mix. And the rest of this, we're going to go ahead and save for later. So we have a squeeze bottle to make it easier for future use. We're going to use a funnel here to make sure that we can get all that cinnamon deliciousness into our bottle. And pour that in, and look at that golden color from that cinnamon. That's just gorgeous right there. All right, so we will save that and put that in the fridge, and this will keep in the fridge for 3 to 4 weeks. So if you have friends that are looking to have an old fashioned, the little added bit of cinnamon makes a really nice touch. All right, so put that aside for now. Now let's talk about how we're going to mix this up. Okay, we're going to start off with our quart mason jar. All right, now there are two kinds of lids that you can use with your mason jar. If you've seen the show before, you've heard me talk about this once or twice or half a dozen times. All right, there is a single piece lid that has the food grade liner in it. This is the one that I actually prefer. It's a little simpler, it makes a better presentation for gifts. And then of course there's Grandma's 2-piece ball lid style. This works perfectly fine too, but the only difference is with this, once it's been in the fridge a while, you might have to pry it off. Okay, it's just an extra step for your friends. So if you have the chance, you can get the single piece lids. I put a link down in the description of how to get these on Amazon. It'll come right to your door. So we're going to use that in just a little bit. All right, so the first part we're going to do is add in our half a cup of our simple syrup with the cinnamon infusion in it. We're going to add that. Now, here is where you have a little bit of latitude. Now, as you know, Fireball does come with the sweetener. We've already got that handled. Now, there is a second component to that, is to bring the heat to the Fireball. All right, now, you can get a 1-pound bag of Atomic Fireball candy on Amazon. And again, look down in the description. I'll give you a link as to how to get it, and again, comes right to your door. We're going to use about 8 to 10 of these in our quart jar. All right, so we're going to add 8 to 10 of these Atomic Fireball candies into our mix. Just throw them right in there. Now, here's a thing. Some people like them hot, and some people like them like really hot. Okay, now there are 2 different recipes that you may see floating around on the internet. The one that I have found that works the best are the Atomic Fireball candies. Some people like those hot tamales too, but the hot tamales I don't think dissolve quite as well as the hard candy. Now there's some soft candies out there, but the way they make the soft candies, it makes it almost impossible to dissolve. These hard candies seem to work pretty well. All right, now if you really want to add some heat, get some chili pepper flakes or crushed red pepper and just throw that in there as well. I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 people throw in ghost pepper, but honest to God, that's like ridiculous. All right, so you might want to add just a little more crushed red pepper, maybe a teaspoonful, and let that sit for about 3 days. All right, so the next thing we need to add is our Canadian mist. We're going to just use that and just pour that right in, and we're going to just fill that bad boy up. Now, while we're doing that, this is a really, really simple recipe, but I got to tell you, it's one of those that it takes just a little bit of effort. And let me explain why. Okay, now that we got that added in. All right, we're going to add our lid to this and give it a good shake. Now, those Atomic Fireballs don't exactly dissolve right away. So what we're going to have to do is, over the course of the day, is come and just give it a good shake like this. Now this is going to take somewhere between 6 and 8 hours. All right, now it's a simple recipe, but it is a little time consuming. It's great if you're watching TV, watching the big game, whatnot, but every hour or so, give that a good shake. And look, just in this little bit of time, look how that lovely red color is coming out because those Atomic Fireballs are starting to dissolve. Now, there is a red dye number 5 in there. Some people may have a slight sensitivity to it. Okay, I just put that out there, but you can kind of gauge yourself. You know, if you've had Fireball in the past, probably will not affect you. For somebody that has never had Fireball, just say, hey, this has red dye number 5 in it. It may or may not be an issue for some people, but you know what? I like to give people all the information, and what they do with it is up to them. So look at that. Already, that color is gorgeous. So I'm going to give this a good shake. We'll come back in just a little bit, and wow, those little fireballs are already dissolving. So I'm going to come back in just a little bit, and we'll wrap up the show. Be right back. And there you have it. That's how simple it is to make your own Fireball at home. Now, you can control some of the ingredients and you can try variations, but this is the one that I think works the best for us. So, but this is just as much your drink as it is ours. So try out some variations and let us know down in the comments how it worked out for you. And also put in what city you're watching this from. We have viewers from all over, like Fallon, Illinois. We know who you are, Janet. Or Mr. Buckley up in New York. Or James Greer, also in New York. So have a good time with this. And let us know if there's anything that you'd like to see on the show in the future. And we're also open to collabs. So I'm going to go share this with some friends that are waiting for me out around the fire pit. You have a great day, drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time. This is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Bar, and cheers.